Good evening, YouTubers. This is your zip code for Farik. Matt Shiny here in the 92805 zip code on this Wednesday, April 8th in the evening here in Southern California. And we're still in New Hampshire as far as zip codes are concerned. Tonight's is 03216, Andover, New Hampshire. It's a little farther up into the state, even though it's still in the southern part of the state. A little bit farther from Manchester, about 41 miles northwest of it. Farther from Concord, 23 miles from that, and 91 miles or so from Boston, northwest of it. This area was settled by white people in 1761. Apparently, a lot of the land in New Hampshire seems to have been awarded to settlers that participated in the war against the French in Canada. There was a lot of back and forth and in between in this area. It was contested, even though this was an English colony. And those people that were involved and faithful end up getting land grants and forming towns and such. And this is another one of those. The first one, Lindborough, we looked at, and now Andover. The area is now, today, there's 2,066 people and it's spread out over 38.3 square miles. So it's very rural, 100%, and very low density. And it's composed of 5 villages, including Andover, the namesake, and some other places, one of which is called Potter Place, which we'll get to in a second. One of the interesting things about this area is that even though it's still 92.3% white, it's 3.6% black. And you may say, what's the big deal, Matt? Well, it's 1.5 times the state as a whole's average of black people in the state, which is 2.1%. And it's important because I'm going to get to that in a second. There's a part of the story here that's very interesting. Like much of New Hampshire, most of it actually, this area has forest in it, and it's at the edge of some state preserves, one of which is the Ragged Mountain State Park. And there's a couple other places too, trails and such. But the town itself is at about 640 feet in elevation, so you're at more of a good jumping off point than actually in the middle of it. There's something here called Proctor Academy that was founded in 1848. It was actually another school before that, and it became Proctor Academy, and it's a private preparatory school for college, so it's known for that. Maybe it's where some New Hampshireans go to school, if you will. And as I said, the interesting thing about what I just mentioned, about 3.6% of the population of the zip code being black, is that there's a man by the name of Richard Potter, who was a black man, was born in Massachusetts in 1783, died in 1835. He settled here after he made his money being a ventriloquist, a magician, and just a general entertainer throughout the eastern United States. He was known as the first black American celebrity, generally speaking, in the country, and he settled here. What got me with this is people generally look at a place like New Hampshire now and then, and there's probably still was mostly white even in that day, and still is. And they think that the place is racist because there's not many blacks or other folks. And I don't always think that's the case, folks. Not many people live in New Hampshire generally, just like many of them don't live in Vermont or North Dakota or Maine. And there's reasons for that, and they're common to both black and white and whomever else might live there. This man was, set up his property and his estate here, and apparently he was welcomed. So, and the area is known as Potter's Place today, where he was, and it was actually inspiration for a 1956 novel called Peyton Place. So those two are connected, and it's part of the Black Heritage Trail of New Hampshire. Didn't even know there was such a thing. You and I are both learning stuff here, folks. This is great here in Andover. As for right now, it's 27 degrees. If you need to be reminded where we're talking about, it's northern New England. Spring is still struggling to come. Low is 22 tonight. Tomorrow, high is 58. Low is 29, cloudy. Friday, high of 66. Ooh, low of 40, partly cloudy with a chance of rain. And then Saturday, back to 52 for the high, 29 for the low, cloudy. So spring is what happens with the stars in the sky, and not necessarily what happens to the plants here right away anyway. So if you like, hit like. If you don't, hit don't. But leave a comment in the comment section below regardless. And I appreciate all of you that listen. And we'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.